Yeah, the butcher and the bakery.
Hello. All right, we're starting. Ready? Okay, here we go. All right, so tonight is about product knowledge, and you guys submitted some questions, so we're going to go through some of those, but we are also going to talk about some general things about product knowledge. I know Amber covered some in the last training session as well, but there's a few other things that we wanted to talk about. So, questions that you all brought up. A lot of these questions, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but they had kind of similar themes. Such and such makes my skin burn. I don't know about this makes me dry, you know, things like that. And so we can go into some of those specific products that y'all have questions. We're going to try to do that maybe off camera in a little while. But in general, there's some bigger ones that we want to talk about that you're going to hear over and over and over again, but some of them are kind of like little ones that we don't need to put on air for everyone for all of time. So, okay. So in general, hopefully, if nothing else, this session has taught you all how to find information about products that maybe you didn't know before. I love InTouch. I don't know if everybody has done this, but to make InTouch your home screen for your phone so that it's easy for you to access all the time, because then you can get on there and look up anything you need to know wherever you are, whenever you're, whenever you're there. Something that you might not know about the product knowledge section until maybe this week, maybe you learned it, is that you can look up information by product, but you can also look it up by ingredient. So I was going to tell you guys a story about a customer of mine who is a gluten-free. She's got celiac disease, but she's got it to the point that she also has to be careful what she puts on topically. And not everyone has it to that severity, but some people do. And so I looked up what are the main ingredients in skincare that often that are gluten or have gluten in them. And so looked that up separately and then went through, looked up each of those ingredients and then saw what products they were in. It was a little bit of a time-consuming task, but that's our job, right? Like, this is what we do. And so to have that at our fingertips all the time is super helpful. I think as new consultants, sometimes we can freak out like, I need to know everything about every product. You will never know everything about every product. And that's why InTouch is amazing. She's like, yes, I will. I have a couple of consultants watching this who are probably thinking the same thing, like, oh, watch me. I'm not a C. So I personally will never know everything about every product. It will never happen. But that's why we are consultants. That's what kind of sets us apart. When you hear things from customers like such and such made my skin feel dry, or made my lips dry, or all those different kind of concerns that y'all brought out in the Boxer group, we are there to service them and to help them work through that. And so that's why this is important for y'all to know. How do we work through it? And the thing about it is, we have 200 products for a reason. They're not all going to be good for every person. I can't wear all of them. None of you can probably wear all of them. They're not good. That's why we have all the different skincare lines, because not every skincare line is going to be good for every skin type they're coming in. Better late than never. So that's why we have the different skincare lines, but that's also the customer service aspect of that is so important as a beauty consultant. Follow-up is so important. That's when, when you hear people talk about following up with your customers within 2 days, within 2 weeks, and within 2 months. That's why we do those 2-day and 2-week checkups, really, is because we can see what's working for them and what's not working for them. I had a situation recently with a customer who's in Florida. I can't obviously follow up with her in person in 2 weeks like we would normally recommend, but I didn't follow up with her at all in 2 weeks. I'm confessing my sins to you all. But I didn't follow up with her at all, and it had been maybe 6 weeks, and I finally followed up and say, how's it going? And she's like, oh, that really didn't work for me. I got something, you know, I was doing something else, and I was like, oh, my bad. That's why we follow up in 2 weeks. And we were able to work it out. She's a friend of mine. And so, you know, we were able to work it out, and she was trying one botanical formula. It didn't feel right to her. So we tried a different one. But if she hadn't been my friend, I probably would have lost a customer in that, you know, because I didn't follow up with her. And so following up in 2 days, a lot of times you'll know if they are starting to have a reaction. Sometimes when people are saying things like, Mary Kay, I tried Mary Kay once and it broke me out. It's probably one of the biggest things that we hear, right? Whether it's an excuse for not booking or whatever. I tried Mary Kay once and it broke me out. Delving a little bit deeper is part of our job as a consultant, and asking those questions like, how long ago was it? What products did you try? Was it a situation where she tried it at a skincare class, or was it a situation where she tried it for a longer period of time? Because that can make a difference too. Like, imagine your skin, you go to skincare class, you try 10 different products on your face. If you have any sensitivities at all, chances are probably something is going to make you feel something, you know, like something was going to burn a little bit, or it was going to turn your face a little red. But when you use it over time, a lot of times those things can work themselves out. Our skin, you guys know, our skin for the first couple of weeks is going to be getting used to whatever product we're using, especially if you're going from using bar soap or nothing and then getting yourself on a skincare regime. Your skin's going to react to that. It's going to have stuff that comes out for a while. And so you're going to have some breakouts and some things like that. But that's why we recommend that people use the products for 6 to 12 weeks, you know, kind of full time, morning and night, so that they get to see what it really is going to do for their skin, and see if they really are going to have a reaction. So, and they can also say that, I tried Mary Kay once, I'm allergic. And then you ask, like, what did you try? And she's like, eyeliner. But you could have just like left it there, you know, as a new consultant, you could have just left it there and not asked those questions and been like, oh, well, it breaks her out. And you lost the possibility to do a makeover, a pampering session with someone who just can't use eyeliner. Okay. So asking those questions, length of time, what did you try? How long ago was it? Just delving a little bit deeper with people and getting to know a little bit more, and not in like a creepy, weird way. You all know how to be cool, right? You can't be like, how long ago was it? You got to be kind, gentle, laid back, and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. You know, how long ago was it? Oh, that feels much better than that. And I feel like that's something that I kind of grew into as I let go of nervousness. You know, when you're able to let go of being worried that you're going to say or do the wrong thing, and just know that the information's at your fingertips within touch on your phone, then you can come across sometimes as less defensive. I feel like at the beginning, don't you feel like, you know, as a new consultant, you were probably a little bit more defensive when people would ask you questions, be like, it's fine. What do you, stop talking. You're going to make all these people not, you know, all these people are going to listen to you. No, just, it's okay. Just relax. It's all right. Everybody's skin is different. So, and that's kind of a theme for many of our, that's what we come back to a lot. Everyone's skin is different. That's why they have us as their personal beauty consultant. And it, you know, it's also why we, at the very beginning as a new consultant, you know, part of the reason you do those 30 faces in 30 days all at one time is so that you do become more familiar with the product. That's how you get to know what it does and what are the common questions that people are going to ask. And if you do a couple parties here and then a couple parties there, and then you wait 3 months and then you do a couple more parties, by the time you do that, you're going to have forgotten. And it's going to all seem brand new and seem hard again to you as a consultant. But if you're doing them back to back to back, then you know these are the questions that I can expect to get from people. And so it doesn't seem like it's big of a deal. So you become more familiar with the products just by your level of activity, but also coming to meetings and to events where you get the chance to try new products. Anytime that you see, I mean, you should be at a meeting all the time anyway, right? If you're far away, you should be at your meeting close to you. But anytime that you see that they're going to be doing a product launch or, a night to try the new products, you should be there. Because especially as a new consultant, sometimes I do remember that there were times that it felt very difficult for me to pull that item off the shelf and use it for myself because I didn't want to lose that money or whatever. And so I wouldn't do it, and I wouldn't pull it off the shelf. I wouldn't try it. And so guess what? I never sold it because I never talked about it because I didn't know what I was talking about because I never tried it. And so just making sure that you are trying the products as they come out, whether that be at meeting or whether it is pulling it off the shelf, you using the product yourself long term, if it's a product that works for you, is going to be the best way for you to be excited about it. That's why, when you start, we go through the whole, this is what your roll-up bag should look like. You write down what do you want to have for yourself because you want to be using it head to toe. So anyway, try the products. It's really important. One of the questions we got was about the lash primer and if it's too harsh, if it felt too harsh. Yes, that's what it was, a lash serum. Again, the only way that I would know, if a customer asked me that question, the only way that I would know to answer that question would be because I tried it. And I know, you twist it, it's a little tiny brush. All you do is brush it across your lashes and across your brow. Nothing about it felt harsh to me, but my skin might be different from yours, and that's how I would answer a customer, is just to say, my skin didn't have any reaction to it, but yours might. I don't, I wouldn't say that necessarily, but just my skin didn't, and it can be up to her then to judge and to remind people that we have the 100% satisfaction guaranteed. We're pretty lucky to have that. Otherwise, we'd be in that makeup graveyard that we talk about with people. So let's see. Other questions. One that I got from a consultant that she didn't ask in the group was about discontinued products. And I know it always, doesn't it like hurt our heart sometimes when the company discontinues products that we love? We're like, oh, hibiscus, yes. Yeah, sometimes it hurts our heart. There are things that, as consultants, we have a product that we just love, and we think, I would die without that product. But she's hoarding it. She's hoarding hibiscus. So I will say this, when the company discontinues products, because I've been with them for 11 years now, I know it sometimes doesn't make it any less painful. I feel a little dramatic saying that, but a little less painful in the moment when they're getting rid of something that you love. Excuse me. But typically they're doing it for one or two reasons. They've tracked products that sell the least. And so, they're always trying to do a good job of making it easier for us as consultants to be able to carry the full line and have a full store on our shelf. And so they just track that and make sure that everything that we're selling is actually something that a lot of people are using. And so you'll occasionally find something that maybe you were using that maybe nobody else was. I'm sorry. Right? Only we were all the same. How boring it would be. Sometimes it's not a matter of the product not being something that people love, but an ingredient that's no longer available, that they can't get anymore to make that particular product any longer. And so, sometimes that's the case. What I do know, and what I've seen happen again and again, is that the company is so good about, I feel like every time that they've let something go that I really loved, there was something coming to replace it that maybe I didn't know about yet, So it was going to be okay. I just trusted that it was going to be okay. It was okay. I would say that Sassy Fuchsia came along and it helped out the hibiscus situation, but Chris says it's not the same. So, but Chris says not the same. So anyway, you're the only person. We love you though. So So, you know, like when the eyeliner, you know, we all were so sad when the eyeliner situation, if you were around when they switched eyeliner last year. But when I tried the new eyeliner, I was like, oh, that's why, because it's amazing, because you can put it on and 30 seconds later, it will not move, you know, and so that's why, because they had a new formula coming out that we didn't know about yet. We were a little sad for a minute, but it got better. It's okay. So that's all I'll say about discontinued products, but that is something that you'll hear, and you hear from customers too. I still have customers who will sometimes ask me, there was a fragrance when my mom sold it. I was 15, y'all. So we're talking like 21 years ago. And there was one fragrance called Acapella and one fragrance called Angel Fire. And I'll still have customers ask, do they still have it? I'm like, no. But we have so many great products that we can introduce them to when they're looking for something like that. So never fear, it's okay. Yeah, other major concerns that you sometimes hear, not major, but major because you hear them often, okay? We talked about just it breaking you out or making your skin feel dry, both with the skincare and with the foundation. That's why we have so many skincare lines. And when you hear during meeting, like Amber and I talking about what we personally use skincare-wise, is there anybody here who strictly uses one line of skincare? Like strictly, yeah, you use one line. For most people, we're using supplements. We're using parts of several different lines. You know, like I use the masks from the botanical line. I use some of the clear proof line. I use the eye cream from the repair line. I use the day and night solution from the Time Wise. I mean, it's different for every person. And that is part of our job as consultants is helping customers find what's perfect for them. And it's changed for me. It changes for me from season to season. It changes for me year to year. A couple years ago was when I had to start using the clear proof because hormones are stupid, and and they, you know, my skin got even oilier than it had been, so I had to use the clear proof to be able to control that. But when you hear things like that from your customers, it's not an immediate, they don't know it yet sometimes, but it's not an immediate, she can't use this. It's, I just have to find the right combination of stuff that's going to work for her. You know, some customers who use the cleanser in the Time Wise Miracle Set, one formula, and they use the moisturizer in the other because they need that balance of the normal. They've got kind of normal dry, kind of combination oily, and they need both. Things like that are our job to be able to work through them. And it helps keep us in a job, you all. Like the fact that my skin changes every season, as a customer, that would be a really great reason for my consultant to get with me from spring to summer to fall to winter to test my foundation, to see what supplements I needed to change. I have oily skin, but in the winter I get flaky. Girls are, who is your consultant? Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember her name. But I have to use the oil-free hydrating gel in the winter because I get flaky, even though I'm super oily. Yeah. So, you know, it's asking those kind of questions and getting together with people often enough. That's why, like, you'll hear Linda Tupin talk about the recycled party, and it's where there's a group of 4 or 5 friends who get together every single quarter. A different person from that group is the hostess, so that she's getting the hostess benefits, and each one of them are getting a chance to get the hostess benefits. But you're getting back together with those people every quarter because there's always something new for us to try with people, whether it's color or a new skincare supplement like the new cellulite cream that's coming out. Yay! Starting Monday. So same thing with foundations. I just let a secret out. 3 days early. Don't fire me. Don't fire me. 3 days early. We'll talk about that later. We're on video right now. The same with our foundations. So our foundations are the same way. Like we have lots of different formulas for a reason, because different ones are going to be different for different people. Someone had said that one of the questions they had was mineral powder going into their lines and creases, making them feel like their customer felt like they looked older because of the mineral powder. And I've heard that before too. But again, that's why we have different kinds. She probably needs some luminous wear so that it won't settle into anything, and so she'll feel good about it. It's just different strokes for different folks kind of thing, you know. And so getting together with her several times and letting her try the CC cream, letting her try cream to powder, matte wear, you know, all those different options so that she can find the one. I'm the same. I'm a makeup snob. I realized the more I was preparing this, because I'm the same way with foundation. During the summer, I'll use mineral powder and cream to powder. During the winter, right now I'm using CC cream and matte wear all winter. You know, like, I use a lot of makeup. But that's fun because it's right outside of my office. I can just go pick it up when I want it. Yeah, I do get a pretty good discount on it. All right. Let's see what else was on. Oh, someone asked a question about perfumes and why some of them are more expensive than others. And that's a great question. Like, you might actually hear that. Part of it is the ingredients. So some ingredients are going to be more expensive than others. But if you'll notice, the ones that are more expensive are typically a higher quality, and they're going to last a little bit longer. So you'll notice that some are parfum and some are like eau de toilette, or I'm not French, so I don't know how to say it correctly. Yeah, it doesn't sound pretty when I say it. But you know, the perfume is going to be more expensive, and it's going to be last longer than the eau de toilette. Is going to be a little less expensive price point, just like the skincare and like our foundations. You know, we have a lot of different price points for different lines, and the same with our perfumes. So let's see. Trying to think if there's anything else was there anything else big that stood out to you, all those questions that you heard when we went through that you?
I was going to say, not feeling you can get enough nourishment for lips with anything. I made the mistake of satin lipsing 2 days in a row last week, and my lips were bleeding. It was awful. And so, but even like, it's just not good. But I haven't found one other than satin lips that keeps moisture in the long term. It's gone in like 30 minutes. I have to reapply.
The nourishing lip gloss.
Yeah, I probably should
try that.
Lip gloss person, so.
Try it, because it's got vitamins in there to help with that. So try that one.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. I'm going to stop the broadcast real quick. And thank you. It was lovely. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
It's a little bit much. It does help.
Okay.
Yeah.